Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while since I said I need to start the video, and the first topic was the citizenship. It's been really wild here at home with cough and also I wanted to do this live so I didn't have to upload and all that stuff, but uh, it's just not working. Like the timing, because since it's live, I wanted it to be able to what do you call that, to match, not match, I guess match the timing of when people would be available, both people in the Philippines and people here. And it's not working because of what we had to deal with here at home also. So, and Facebook is not being nice. So anyway, I decided, I was like, well, I'll just have to video it and then upload, and then this way I could also upload it on YouTube. So anyway, so the topic was uh, getting your citizenship. So first I wanted to say a few facts about it. So all the information, study resources and everything, all that is actually available for public online on their website. So anyone can go to uscis.gov, and that's where you go also to like apply for your passport and for your visa, all that stuff, and of course for your citizenship. And so all the resources out there, and it's so nice actually now, like than I did it before, and that was just what, 3 years ago, not 3 years ago, 2019. But anyway, you over there, you'll be able to get the study resources, and you'll be able to see everything that you need in there. I'm just doing this just for people who, obviously, like the life is busy, and you could just play this video and then see the questions, because that's what I'm gonna do. So most here is not gonna be about what are the type of forms and all that. It's gonna be more of the questions. And so that was, like I said, that first I wanted to talk about facts. And another is that there are 100 questions. So, and that's given. So there are 100 questions that the USCIS want you to study and or want you to know. 100 questions, but within that 100 questions you are going to be asked just 10 questions, and from that 10 you need to pass or answer correctly 6. Okay, just 6 questions. So there are 100 that you need to study. They're gonna ask you in your interview 10 of the 100 questions. So, and it's random, you wouldn't know which 10, so you have to study the 100. But and then out of the 10 you just need to answer 6 correctly. It's not bad. So and also they'll test your what do you call that, your writing, how you can write. So there are basically like 3 sentences that they'll show you, and then you just have to write 1 sentence, write it correctly, so see if you could write in English. That's what they, and then also read. There are 3 sentences that you can that they'll show you, and you have to read 1 sentence. And sometimes well, in my experience, I don't know how it was, but well, hold on, let's go back to the facts. The filing fee is $640, and then biometric fee, that's when you do your fingerprints and all that stuff, for $85, and the total is $725. And that's just for that, for the fee. So of course not including your hotel stay when you go, because usually it's not in the same city that you have to do all this stuff, and your the gasoline to get there. But so save up a little bit, 725 just for the filing fee, biometric fee, and all that. $725. Okay, so all right. So my experience, for the questions, so you're gonna be interviewed, right? And in the interview, they'll be looking at your form that you filled out, and just basically asking. I mean, like I said, my experience, the person was nice, the interviewer was nice, and they're not gonna be so intimidating. I hope everyone's experience are like that, but they like just nonchalantly, or like, like just sneak it in there, the questions. So it's like you didn't even realize that you've been asked, until I didn't, until I think the second or third question. I'm like, oh, these are the citizenship tests now. But anyway, so he'd just be like asking questions. Oh, so your name is this, and you're blah blah blah, so you just be like, yeah. And well, what did you do? Well, what's your job? And all that stuff. And the next thing you know, it's like, so do you know what the supreme law of the land is? Like, just randomly in there. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a, but anyway, so that's what it was. So in this video, I wanted to just do 5 questions for now. So I want to, like, in this video, 5 questions at a time, because it should be discussed, and then maybe I'll have like a compilation of all 5, and I mean, make it into 100. I mean, of all 100 questions, then someone could just like play the 100 questions. But I believe in, like, going back to my to my cup thing. It's like you can't really stuff so much in your cup, and and expect your brain to process all that and gain something from it. Give your cup some space. So, or first of all, empty. So right now, it's like, when you get into this to study and all that, empty your cup. Be ready. Don't have all this other stuff like negativity and whatever, but just empty it. Be ready for the information. You can do more, and I will also include in here like strategy of what I did, to remember the questions or the things better. But anyway, all right. So the 5 questions. First, I want to just say all 5 at first. Okay. So I picked those. Okay. So the questions also say, look, I printed this out. All 100 questions are in here. So this is from the USCIS website. You can print it. You can actually, like, you can even choose to print it in like flashcards version, I guess. But I decided to just do it in print it that way. And I went through the the questions, and I picked which 5 I would like to do. I don't want to like jump through everywhere so much. I don't want it to be so random. Like, kind of like be what do you call that? Correlated. Okay, so anyway, all right, so I'm gonna just the 5 questions. So here are the 5 questions. What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. Number 2, what does the Constitution do? It defines the government. Number 3, what is an amendment? It is an addition or a change to the Constitution. How many amendments does the Constitution have? 27. And what do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? Bill of Rights. Okay, so those are the 5 questions. Just the first 5 that we're going to talk about. So, to be able to remember these things, and there's so much. 100 questions, that's a lot to memorize, and some of the questions actually have few answers, and that you have to like memorize some of it. Like, for example, the first 13 states, so there are 13. But anyway, so it requires more than just reading it once or listening to it once. Okay, what is the supreme law of the land? And then a lot of these things are not very they're just all informational. They're not like everyday life or what everyday activities that it's like, oh, okay, and then you can remember it. But it's like these are just facts, information. And so to make it to where we can remember it, so we put it in our cup. So right now you're listening to it. this is my, my strategy. So you put it in your cup to process. So it's in your cup. Now, while it's processing, it's like you just listen to it. You have to do more. You have to do more. Give your brain more information. That way, it's like, what do you call that? It can process it more, and like it has more information to process it. Then it can remember it better. So I told my 11-year-old, because we had this discussion in the car about a cup. So it's like, so the cup, I've been using the cup, but anyway, so your cup is where you gather information and you put it in there, what you hear, and all from your five senses. What you hear, what you see, what you taste, what you smell, and what you touch. It all goes in the cup, and within that cup the brain processes it, and then it decides whether where it's going. But you can actually control, you can control that. You obviously control what you put in your cup, because you're the one who's like, watching, and sometimes you see things that you didn't want to see. But you also control that. If you don't want to if you don't want your brain to process it more, then don't, then stop watching it, then eventually it'll go away. Anyway, so once all that information in your cup, and then you want, you want to add more in, into it. If you want that information to be in your bank, I just called it bank, or bank of knowledge. Or, so there's the cup, bank of knowledge, or trash. So if you want it to just go in the trash, then don't add anything. You hear, you taste it once, you smell it once, you whatever. Don't add anything, don't do anything, don't whatever. It eventually it's gonna go in trash. So your brain's gonna process it like, that is not important. It goes in the trash. But if you add more, so for example, you hear these questions, that I just said. So you already put it in your cup. Once it's in your cup, you have to do more. That way your brain will realize that, okay, this must be something important. It's gonna process it still in there even more. Now it has more information, and then you add more. So the more you use, the more senses you use for that information, the more it's going to, or the better it is for your brain, and then it's for to process it. Obviously, the more information you have, the better it is to make the better decision. So then then it's like, okay, this is important information, then I need to put it in the bank of knowledge. So to do that, you already heard the questions. What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. So I heard that. I'm gonna use more. I'm gonna use more of my senses in order for me to memorize that. So, for example, write it down. Get a piece of paper. So just get a piece of paper, even this, or like the print paper, big print of paper. Get a pen, get a marker, and write, Constitution. Write big, capital letters, Constitution. So now you're using your hand, and you're also using your eyes. Now you can see it. So you're adding more, like you're using more of your senses to give to your brain. Now your brain was like, oh, okay. So it's processing it. It's like, okay, this must be something important, right? So, but it's still in your cup at this point. So anyway, so you write Constitution, you put dash to it, and then say supreme law of the land, and then that information you can. So now it's like, so now the brain realizes that, okay, it must be important, but then you're gonna make it like repetitive, like just keep seeing it, because you want to remember it. So you want to see it more, you want to hear it more. You're really telling your brain you're in control of what you want to put in your bank of knowledge. You really are. If you don't want to hear it, if you don't want that in your bank of knowledge, then don't worry about it. Leave it. Don't want to hear anything about it. Don't want to do anything. Don't want to see it. Then of course, like I said, it'll eventually go in the trash. So take control. So right now you want to pass your citizenship, then take control. For example, so once you have that paper, instead of putting, like, I don't know, in your refrigerator door. We have the everyone, I think, has refrigerator door, has refrigerators. But anyway, instead of putting, like, I don't know, Taylor Swift poster, sorry, but no, I'm just saying that it's like things that actually do not add value to yourself. Then, take those out. Now, take those out. So instead of that, that paper, the Constitution, the Supreme Law of the land that you wrote on the paper, put it on the refrigerator door. And so now it's like every time you open, which I know you open the refrigerator more than, I don't know, I mean, more than once a day, right? So every time you go over there, you see that. You see it. Constitution, supreme law of the land. The Constitution, supreme law of the land. So you keep putting that in your cup and you keep saying it. You just wrote it. So the brain has no chance but to process it and to, like, okay, and to keep it, right? Because you're not, yeah, you are in control, and you are telling your brain, no, this is important, and we're going to keep it. So anyway, so yes, and also it's like, so the Constitution, it was the supreme law of the land. And what does it do? Question number 2 was, what does the Constitution do? It defines the government. So you could make something like this, but bigger. I don't know if it's, so Constitution, and then supreme law of the land, and it defines the government. You can make it bigger, like design it yourself too. Like I said, you're in control. However you can remember things better. So if this is in red ink, or it's like, you can use, like I said, Sharpies, red Sharpie, and if that was in red, and then it was like bigger, and however you think you need it to be, so you could, like, remember it better. Or you can make it colorful, whatever, make it beautiful. And then just put it on the refrigerator door, and every time you go and open, or open the door to get something, whatever, from the refrigerator, sound it out. It's like Constitution, supreme law of the land, or just say supreme law, it defines the government. And then, think about that. Say it, like I said, the brain will have no choice but to think about it. If you see it all the time, you say it all the time, and also talk about it to someone. If you have anyone, hopefully you have someone. So if you have anyone, a sister, brother, husband, wife, or I don't know, what do you call it? Children, whoever, co-workers. Hey, it's like, just talk it out and say, I learned today that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it actually defines the government. It's like, you can even ask question about it, and then what you hear, then there you go again. You heard more about it, adding to your cup, and keep that there on the refrigerator door. And actually, it's like it becomes a habit. Like, it's so ingrained in your brain. Like I said, the brain has no chance, guys. You can control your brain. The brain is just there waiting for you to tell it what to do. So it's like it can't do anything unless you give it. It's the cup. It'll process whatever you give it. So be careful what you give it. Okay. Anyway, it gets so ingrained in your brain that it's like when you close your eyes, you see it. It's like, when you close your eyes, you see it, and then when you hear Constitution, it's like, oh, even you can even picture, like, you're not in your refrigerator door, but when you hear what is the supreme law of the land, and you see that supreme, it's like, oh, that's the one on my refrigerator door that I colored purple, and it was the Constitution there, and this won't happen overnight, of course. I mean, we're not smart people. We're not smart people, unless, of course, you're smart, that you've got some kind of power that you look at something and then bam, That's it. And they're out there too. But since we're not that, we will have to come up with ideas and strategies on how to make sure that we remember these things. And so that was one idea. I actually did that. And also it's like when I'm doing, life is busy. I'm so busy, I have children. I work, there's like, we don't really have we don't have maids who does dishes for you and this and that. We don't have that. Or our grandchildren, I mean grandchildren, our children, they're far away from their grandparents. That's what I meant. They're far away from their grandparents, and so they don't, we don't have grandparents that will take care of children for a weekend or whatever. I'm sure they would love to, but we don't. I mean, they're far away, so we're busy, and so we have to come up with these things. I can't sit down and say, "Oh, I'm gonna study for an hour," or "Hey, don't bother me for for Saturday, all day Saturday. Don't bother me because I'm gonna be studying." Sometimes it doesn't work like that, and actually, I don't think that's the best strategy anyway, because then you'll just be putting so much in there at like one setting. But these things, when you embed all this information that you want to remember, when you embed it in your daily activities, it's a lot easier. You don't really have to give extra time, or you don't have to give extra effort. It's just there. You open the refrigerator, you see it. Instead of seeing, you open the refrigerator, and then you see, I mean, before you open, of course, but you go to open, you see a poster of your favorite celebrity. Come on, but don't worry about that. Also, when you're doing, when I'm folding clothes or doing dishes, instead of watching soap opera, okay, like just leave that alone for now. You're folding, have a video of someone talking about the citizenship, or like, or anything, or even make a video of yourself, like you're talking, just reciting all of the 100 questions, and then you're folding and you're just hearing that in the background. That's fine, and then it's not like very like focused and stuff, but that is just making it your brain familiarized with it. In your car, like, how there's, you check yourself, so you got the sun visor right there. Put a tape something there, like another, what was the other question, what is an amendment? So put amendment, write it on another piece of paper, amendment, and then tape it in your sun visor. So when you go and look, I'm like, to look, to check, I'm sure you're driving, you check yourself. But you'd see that amendment. It's a change or an addition to the Constitution, and then you say there are 27 amendments so far. So that's another thing. But you could, whichever one you want. It didn't have to be the Constitution on the door of the refrigerator, whichever one. And also, where you sleep or where you watch TV, just you don't have, when you are like wanting to accomplish something, you like I said, you have to empty your cup. You don't have the luxury to hang things right now that are like I don't know, like I said, posters of celebrities or inspirational quotes. I mean, come on. Hang things on your door, like if you have stairs on your wall, put questions right there. Like, these are like, you're giving your brain information. You're telling it to process this, keep this. This is important. So, however, like in your bedroom, when you lay down, watch TV, right above the TV, right to the side of the TV, put a huge piece of paper over there that you just can't help but look. It's like you don't have the luxury of making it looking all nice, and no, you've got a goal. So don't worry about that. It's like, oh well, I want to put this nice picture of a beautiful swan. I don't know, it's just so random. Like, why? Just, so there are so many. Yeah, I had to do that while I was doing dishes. Headset, listening, and then I just coming up with ways to where I can incorporate all these things that I need to remember or I need to know within my daily activities. Because life is busy. So the Bill of Rights, you can, and Bill of Rights was the first 10 amendments. So we know that the amendments is the change or an addition to the Constitution. And then the first 10, so there were 27 amendments in the Constitution. The first 10 is called the Bill of Rights. Okay, and then the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It's supreme. It's like everything is based off it. It sets up the government. It defines the government, and none of these, me like talking and all that stuff would actually matter. It will not help you if you do not, like I said, do all the important steps that you have to do to tell your brain to process it, that it is important and all that stuff. And I mean, and then this will take, don't be like doing this and then the next day you're taking the test. Okay, it doesn't work like that. So like get it to where it becomes a habit, and then you're not, it's not even like a pressure anymore, and it'll just be, you just know. And then look, when I did this, and I was just like, I was just really studying it because for my citizenship. And so when I went to school here and I took criminal justice, and this was all this was all discussed in that subject. And my goodness, they were just like, what? It's like, how do you're a foreigner, and then it's like, you know that, it's like, so now it's like you're adding value to yourself. And it's like, the more you have in your bank of knowledge, of course, the more you're able to provide for you can, the more valuable is it you're going to be, and then you can provide, the more you can provide for your children, for your spouse, for your community, everything. It'll just, like Jordan Peterson said, it will like accumulate, but like scaffolding, though, little at a time. There's you gotta help yourself, but little at a time, but it gets up there. So anyway, so remember those, and take your time, like writing. You can have flashcards and write it in flashcards. What is the supreme law, like all the questions. So print out you don't even have to print it out if you don't have printers. Not everyone has printers. Go online and write it down. Like, what is the supreme law of the land? Write it down. And then the more you're doing it, it's not a waste. It's like, oh my god, I'm having to write this because I don't have printer. No, you're adding information to your cup for your brain. So you're writing it down, you're seeing it, read it too while you're writing it. Constitution, the supreme law of the land. So you're hearing it, you're writing it, you're seeing it. I guess don't taste it. But it didn't say that you must use the 5 senses. But anyway, so do that. Like I said, right, make flashcards yourself. That really helps, even with the teacher certification exams. That helps a lot. But and then once you have the flashcards yourself, you made it yourself, that is already in your cup. And then now you are going to like ask someone. It doesn't have to be rocket scientist, that someone, anyone that can hold the flashcards for you, and then just say, hey, what's this, or it's you, like, just reading it, doing that, your flashcards. Even you're at work, when you're on your break at work, do that, like read your notes while you're at work. Or you can discuss it with your coworker. I mean, there's so many, and your brain has no chance but to process it and remember it. Then it's like, okay, I'm putting it in my bank of knowledge. And once it's in your bank of knowledge, basically I'm using cup, bank of knowledge, and trash. It's basically a short-term memory in your cup, and then the long-term memory is like, okay, it's good, it's important. There are like a lot of things that we've seen and we've tasted that we forgot already. It was just in the short-term memory and we didn't do anything about it anymore, and then it's in the trash. We forgot, we don't know anymore, that's trash. There are also a lot of things that happened long time ago, but it's in our what do you call that, it's in our bank of knowledge, it's in the long-term memory. So for example, writing your name, like, it's like knowing your name, the brain had no chance but to memorize that. But anyway, it's been 30 minutes and I hope that I've said enough. Maybe it's too much. I'm sorry that it took so long, but I'm just glad that this is done, and this is going to be uploaded on our YouTube also, and I will make a reel out of those 5 questions. That way, like, someone could just play that instead of listening to all this blah 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 for 30 minutes. But anyway, remember the 5 questions. What is the supreme law of the land? That is the Constitution. And the Constitution defines the government. And then the amendment is an addition or a change to the Constitution. So there's your supreme law of the land that defines the government, and when we make changes to it or when we add things to it, that is called amendment. And right now there are 27 amendments in the Constitution. Okay, well, I'm using the 2008, hopefully. There's 27, and then the first 10 out of that 27, number one, it's gonna be in here more too. Those are like, your First Amendment, second, those are like very popular ones. But anyway, the first 10, 1, 2, 3 to 10 out of the 27 amendments, that is called Bill of Rights. And I think that was all of the 5 questions. All right, so happy studying, and have a good night. Oh, well, good morning, Philippines. Well, I don't know, this is for citizenship, but my family is in the Philippines, so bye guys. Thank you. See you next time. God bless.